No, I don't like it on overlay. There we go. Good evening, everybody. Happy Wednesday. How is everybody doing tonight? Let me know if you can hear me. I'm just waiting for a couple of minutes and see if we got a couple people joining us, and then we'll get started. It's September. School has started. School started here in Iowa a couple weeks ago, but I know Minnesota mostly started yesterday. And hi, Anne Marie. How are you? Hello, Kelly. Turn my light a little bit differently so it's not quite shining on my face. Hello, Michelle. How are you feeling? I hope you're healing fast. Apologize if this camera looks a little, my tablets. I'm still kind of figuring out what angle I want my tablet at. Hi, Shirley. Hi, Mom. All right, well, we got a few people. We're going to get started. I'm going to play with some of the new release for September. I have a couple of stencils and a stamp set here. And this is the typography. Oh, I haven't looked yet. That's okay. It'll probably sell out before I have a chance to look, and that's okay with me. This is the typography stencil, and I believe this one's the stencil of the month. And I don't have any of my samples because I just mailed them today to the store. So they get there because I thought Christopher said the fall release is next week, and I wanted to make sure my samples got there. So here is a background that I made with it. This is some chroma mist that I sprayed through the stencil, and then I quickly laid this on top and created a background with it. So this is a fun one. We're not going to use this one tonight, but I wanted to share this one with you. And then this is the notebook paper. This one we're going to use tonight. And so far I have a background ready with it, but I haven't done anything with it. But we're going to use this one tonight. I created a fun card, and I thought we'd recreate that one tonight. And then here is the All Set for School stamp set. This is the one, the inspiration box. Let's see if I can get it so it's not too shiny with the plastic. Apologize. So we are going to use this tonight. We're going to use some of the images and the A+ teacher. And then the Christopher sentiment, which I have to grab. And then I have the Easy Elements dies. We're going to use the third largest, or the second, not the smallest, but the next one up of the little, I don't know what you want to call it, circles with the pinking sheer edge. So, but I already got cut that out, so we're going to put that aside. Okay. Hello, Luann. So first, we're going to make a mini slimline card tonight. And if we get ahead, then we can start working on another card. But I have 2 pieces of cardstock. This is I think this is actually 120 pounds or 110 pound. It's just a piece of scrap that I have cut down to 6 by 3 1/4. And this is the Raven detail, or the Raven, not the Raven detail, Raven cardstock. And this one is 6 1/2 by 6 1/2 by 3 1/2. So this will end up laying out. Hi, Lori. How are you? Since I'm going to officially congratulate you, Lori won our challenge last month. So this month's challenge is foiling. I'm not going to do any foiling tonight. I will work on that for next week. And you can do hot foiling, deco foiling, for some fun. Okay, well, first I'm going to take this notebook paper stencil. I'm going to put that aside so it doesn't shining on us. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to line this up as best I can, kind of in the middle of my card. And I'm going to go all the way to the one edge and kind of let it overlap a little bit. And then I have some of this, hello, is it Linda? LLT? I can't remember, from South Hills. Is it Linda? I think it is. I'm going to let it kind of hang off the edge because we're going to go over this whole thing. And what I want to do is I'm just eyeballing it. I'm using some of this low tack. This is the rainbow tape that I got in like It is Linda. Okay, I thought it was Linda. That's my mom's name, so that's what I thought. And I'm just gonna, this is just like a low top Post-it note tape. I'm just gonna mask off those two edges there because I don't want any that. And then I'm gonna use a little bit here. I'm excited for you too, Lori. It's sometimes that's the hardest thing to do is to figure out what you're gonna get, right? So I have a Ranger tool with the flat foam. Usually I use the rounded, but for stenciling and with black and white, I tend to use the flat one because I don't rub, I tap. And then my Raven Detail ink. We're going to make little lines for us to write on. So this is a little known fact. I was a substitute teacher for 20 years in K through 12 in a couple different schools. My mom was a teacher. She was a kindergarten teacher. She was a preschool teacher. But I stopped teaching 2020, and now I work full-time in a real estate firm as an account executive. So I still have lots of friends who are teachers. I did really enjoy it, but it was just time for me to move on. So I just kind of tapped it in, and then I twisted just a little bit, but I didn't rub and twirl like you normally do. And I just kind of twisted just to kind of get in there in those good spots. Now these fine lines, you could use some pixie spray if you wanted to, because they can move, but I just figured a printer isn't always perfect either. So sometimes the lines get a little smudgy. And then we're going to go ahead and peel this off quick. And then, oh, look we did get some over the edge. I was an aggressive blender. All right, I'm going to use this as a sand eraser. We're just going to see if we can get some of that off. Should have done the whole thing, right? Well, it's going to be lightweight, but that's okay because sometimes, you get a little smudgy when you're writing with pencils and pens. And there we go. That's not too bad. It's kind of there, but not really. I have seen the pouncers, but I have not used them yet. Mostly because I just got enough. When I was at CYOE, I was able to pick up a few more of the Ranger foam. I don't do a lot of that type of thing. So I use a lot of the foam rounded for full. I've decided that that's been very, very good for me for full panels. And then I have, I have regular size blending brushes. I have mini blending brushes. And then a friend of mine actually told me instead of buying mini brushes to get, these are eyebrow pencils. They're from Elf online. And they're good for little areas. So I have lots of things. And then of course I have the Brutus Monroe, the little ones. Let's see, I'll grab ones. I love those. And I was able to pick up some so that I have them for I have one for every one of my ink, my Simon Hurley inks. I slowly kind of put those. So I have seen them, but I just don't have space for something like that. Or at least I don't want to make space for something like that, if that makes sense. I did get a little aggressive. I see I got in a little spot, but there we go. I'm just going to put this aside. I'll clean this later with just some squeaky clean. We're going to quick erase. I think when I go live, I go a little faster. So sometimes I get a little more aggressive with my blending. But to me, it can be just then. I like the little Brutus Monroe one. And then for me, I have one that's white for my alabaster and one for my black. And I just keep them all the time. And I just keep them in these little hors d'oeuvre cups on my desk. They can turn, they can be laid sideways. I bought these at the dollar store and I keep them for little die cuts. So I have a bunch of little die cuts here. Here's some of the fall leaves and some other leaves and stuff that I've cut out. So, and then they keep my desk clean. All right. So that's the main thing is we're going to do that. Now we're going to create a border. So I'm going to grab my Misty here. And this is going to be a thank you card. I'm changing up from my sample a little bit because I'm going to use a different die. I went through my stash and found an old, like preschool-y looking die. I'm actually going to put this right in the middle, and I'm going to use all of my magnets because I don't want it to move. to cut out letters. Yes, I did not get the Halloween box yet. I would love to, but I have a lot of Halloween stamps right now, so I'm trying to be a good girl and use what I have. I love them. They're so amazing. And every time Christopher goes live, I want to get them, but I've been kind of putting it off, unfortunately, but it's super cute. And I can't wait to see what everyone creates with them. I am excited for my Merry Maker box. Those will be shipping here soon. So I'm that. So this is the all set for school. And I'm just going to grab some of the little, there's all sorts of icons. So there's like a little calculator. I don't know if I'm going to use the calculator this time because I don't have quite a big enough. But there's push pins. There was a glue. So I'm going to put the glue like this. And we're making a very black and white card. I did like the scissors. I've got the paper clip. I think I used the pencils on my one because I thought that was fun to do like a little bit of the pencil tips. And what else did we use? What else did I use? I'm just kind of looking around here. Actually, I think we're going to use these pencils instead. No, I want the bunch. I want the bunch. And then there was a ruler. I thought this was a square ruler, was kind of fun. I think this, because it's small, we're going to kind of angle the scissors kind of like this. We're going to get the ruler in here. Actually, maybe we'll put something little in there first. There is a eraser. I have a daughter who loves Halloween, and I last year did get we had a full Halloween release last year, and I did get that. So I have that. I have several other older Brutus Monroe sets that I just love. So my Halloween bin is very full right now, and I really don't want to get rid of any of it. I love everything I have. So, and then I think I'm going to use the push pins. So like I said, I'm excited to see what people create with it. And as you can see, I have several masks that I used with some of my cards. I thought it was really fun. I love that die set, and that you can put them in little Frankenstein's hands. I think that's fun. That almost did me in for it, but I've got a couple things on my wish list here that I'm kind of working on right now. So the fall release is coming, and I'm excited for that. And just other things that are coming up. I'm excited to see what Christmas stuff comes up in a little bit. Not that I need any Christmas stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and this. He showed, yes, Michelle, he did show us some of the Merry Making event. There was a couple of videos with some, I think one is actually called. There was one back that he showed a bunch of stuff. I think he showed one card, but he showed a bunch of it. That's dies and some of the stamps, but I don't remember. The unboxing, he said he would be, I think he posted in the group, they'd be videotaping it for next, it'd be next week. This is just the Raven Detail ink, and I'm just we're not coloring in these images. I'm gonna leave them on black and white because I want my sentiment to be the star of this show tonight. I mean, these are perfect, but they're little accents because this is gonna be a thank you card. And these would be so simple to make for a bunch of teachers. Yes. Yes. Waiting. Yep. See what he creates for Stamptember. That will be exciting. I've always loved the Stamptember sets. Last year, I missed out on the Stamptember set because it sold out before I could really wake up enough. And then I had a friend of mine who got it and ended up destashing a bunch of stuff. And so I ended up being able to get it from her. So I was really excited. Okay, so there we just have a tiny little bit of a border. I mean, it's not super centered on here, so you could have done that centered a little bit lower, but I like that little bit of border. Now we're just going to flip this around. And we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to move the stamps. And I'm going to use the exact same stamps. I'm just going to put them in different positions. I don't want to add too many stamp sets to it because I think it mixes things up. So I'm just going to make sure the glue is in a different spot. And I need to make sure we can read it. So I got to make sure it's facing this direction. Maybe we'll put and then we're going to get the scissors. Actually, I think what I want to do is I'm going to angle the glue a little bit because I want the full scissors this time. Or almost the full scissors, because I think that's fun. And then we'll do more of the pencils like this time. I'll get the eraser. Where was the eraser? I want them in a little bit different spots. And I have enough room. I could probably put that paper clip in there again, but it's fine. Fill in the space. I might do that later. Hey, you know, Michelle, you just went through, you know, you've been recovering, so you're forgiven. And then he's been with Christopher's been doing lots of lives, so you know, sometimes I have to think about it too. Did this what, you know? So they've been fun. It's been fun to have lots of lives. They entertain me at night when I'm crafting in my craft room, getting stuff ready for you guys to share on social media or to ship into the store for samples. Okay, so there we go. Michelle, I think every single year is different. It's different. It really is. I think it all depends on the year. It depends on the design. All the stamp sets are different. Like this year, the first collaboration, I couldn't believe it was still up when I got up in the morning. Because sometimes I look and just look at them. But sometimes I just figure I'm going to go to sleep and I'll wake up and look at it in the morning and this and that. So I think it just depends. Last year was gnomes, and gnomes was really big last year. So I know that's reason why I think it sold out as quickly as it did last year. The year before, I don't remember. I think it's just different. It's hard to say. Some years I've seen that some of the Stamp-Timber sets from the companies, the stamp set sells out right away. Sometimes I've seen the Stamp and Die. Sometimes they're available for a day or so. So I always just think if it's one you're really interested in looking at, maybe set an alarm, wake up if you can and look for it and look at it. And then you can decide, you know, if it's something you think you're going to want, you should purchase just because nobody knows. All right, this is the circle with the pointy, I don't know exactly what you would call this. It's called the Raven. And you could save paper by cutting this out of your mat. I did not. I just had a scrap piece that was the right size. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to stamp this while I have the Misty out. And I'm going to use the A. And you could change this up to an A+ student. Oh, I have the windows open, you guys. It's so nice. We had, you know, I think Iowa broke some temperature records this week, and it rained last night to wake up this morning, and it was just nice. I have longer like capri pants on and I'm not dying of heat, and now the breeze is coming in and it's just awesome. It is a very adorable stamp set. My kids are all grown, so I don't have a lot of, you know, reasons to necessarily make teacher cards, but I have a lot of friends who are teachers, so I thought this will be perfect. And I have scrapbooking stuff to do, of course, too. You know, there's beakers and a computer, the school, and you know, the backpack. And I love the airplane. I want to use that in something and make like a whole background with that. I mean, you could just make a flying by to say hi type card with this. You know, just stack lunch. I made a card using just this book and this glasses. So it's fun. There's art supplies, you know, for a crafty friend. So it's a very versatile set. So I just did some anti-static powder tool. I like to use anti-static powder tool, alabaster ink when I am heat embossing in white. And I like to use the pigment ink instead of the embossing powder because I just think I get a little bit crisper white. And then if I don't get I can see it a little bit better on the black. So I know if I need to do it another time. Where at the clear ink, you're not always 100% sure on black if you get a good impression. Okay, and then we will quickly, I will wipe this off. Get my Misty away because we don't need that anymore. And we're going to quick heat set this. I had a paper clothespin here. Oh, I almost didn't. There we go. See? Hurry in, hurry in, hurry in. Got to get embossing powder in there first, right? Got my alabaster. You could use alabaster sparkle. You could use the fairy dust if you wanted some sparkle, but then use the white. I'm just going to go ahead and use the regular alabaster. And even though I did anti-static powder tool, I tend to be very not enough. So I'm going to wipe this off just a little bit, make sure it's not extra. My with that is if you get a little extra white or black embossing powder, you can always do a little bit of a splatter. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to heat emboss. I'm going to let this heat up. So what I do is I take this and I just kind of let it heat up for a second and I do it on my arm like you would a baby bottle. And then I know it's hot because it's like I don't want it on my arm. So I'm going to bring it to paper. All right. And I do want to unplug this right away so I don't get it later. And then I'm going to let this just kind of cool off a little bit, and then we'll wipe that anti-static powder off of it. I don't want that shining in your faces, so that's why I'm trying to move that stamp set. Now, this is where you could have some fun. You could, if you had good, if you had penmanship, you could write thank you. My mom has fabulous penmanship, so she could write the thank you and it would look great. You could never forge my mom's signature on a school note, and I know my mom's listening because she had like perfect penmanship, perfect L's in cursive, everything. But I was just thinking, if you wanted to write with a pen, you could, and there's this little ink spot that you could make an ink spot to make it look like your pen leaked. That would be kind of fun. But I'm gonna just go ahead and use the Christopher sentiments. Thank you. And just gonna grab the thanks. This is from the Christopher, and it's very big. Maybe I don't want to do this. I'm gonna change my mind. I hope that's okay. We have some time, right? Yeah, it's 7:23. We're going to use the stamps that I used before. Let me see if I can pull them out my stencil. This is just a very, very, very basic from Spellbinders. It's just a very basic alphabet. It just, to me, it was just the right size. And then how I did it for my sample, which I really liked, is I just grabbed some red, yellow, and blue cardstock. So let me just grab some scraps here quick. Sorry about that, you guys. There, that's a good red. We want like schoolhouse red. And we need some blue. And this is just some scraps. I'm just grabbing some scraps. And we're going to very quickly, I'm going to grab my die cut machine. And I'm not going to do, I layered them and like put 3 layers together. We're going to just do 1 layer tonight on my sample. So I'm going to quickly, I need a T, a capital T. And I am going to kind of cut this down a little bit so they're not so big because I'm going to try not to waste any cardstock. So I need a red T. And how I did this is I just took some little tiny pieces of old pixie tape or old washi tape, and I just taped it on like this. Hi, Lisa. How are you? It was a good day. So I have the T and then the H, and I'm going to do lowercase. I'm going to do yellow. We're going to just do every other letter. And I'm just going to grab some pixie tape here. I am making a thank you card using the notebook and the notebook stencil and the all set for school stamp set. And then this is just a basic die that actually I believe I cut from Scrap Mania. There's the H. And then the A is going to be blue. That's on here. So I just, you know, nowadays with dies and layering dies, you got so many fun dies. You can do all these little pieces. You can keep littler pieces of scrap paper and not have to cut your big pieces up. Oh, you're welcome. So T-H-A. So then the N needs to be red. If I don't get them all in one pass, we can do it on a second pass. But you also really could just cut them out of white and then ink blend them. We don't need this. Oh, that's going to be the Y. Okay, the N is on here. Now, I wasn't 100% sure which one was the U and which one is the N. I'm going to choose this one as the N. So N, and then the K is right there, so we'll do that one. That's going to be blue. We'll do that next. And then the capital Y, because I can cut out all three of these. Actually, let's just cut these out so I have the right colors. Because I'm already in my head. All right. So this is just my Spellbond Platinum 6. I'm just going to quick cut them out. I'm going to move my blending brushes because they're in the way right now. I've had lots of fun creating with, like I said, the fall release that's coming. I've been using stuff I hadn't used before. I got some of the Scowleen embossing powder. That was really fun for Halloween cards. I made a and I used the Golden Gourd. That one's a fun one too. So, you know, and check out some of those embossing powders. I believe there's still a sale going on for some of the Christmas sets and some of the other sets. If you buy one, get the die free. There's my pokey tool here. Just got to poke it out a little bit so I can get to that K. It's okay if they're stuck in there. This is one thing I will say. This is thicker paper, so it's sticking in my die a little bit. So I just have my pokey tool in here to pop it out. TH. Let's pop out that A. THA. That way I make sure we get the right colors. And I know it's all upside down. Let's get our T out of here. Oops. All right, so we got THAN. So the K needs to be yellow. So this is probably the tedious part, if you were going to call anything tedious in this. But like I said, you could stamp the letters if you had a stamp set that works, or handwrite it with some colored markers. If you had a stencil with letters, you know, you could do that too. Or like I said, this is like handwriting paper. It could be just write it like you're a little kid. So K is yellow. K, think, and then U. So Y will be blue. If I remember correctly, I don't know if I can do them at the same time. I did do an exclamation point. We might not do that one tonight because it's a little finicky. Just get that Y in there, capital Y, because I did a capital. And then we need an O and a U. So we need a red O. Oops, we got a little bit of stuff in there. So for those of you who are watching and commenting tonight, when did you usually start school? I grew up in Minnesota. We never started school before Labor Day. And when I got down here, and my kids always went before Labor Day. And that was always kind of a weird thing for me, but because they didn't get out any earlier. They didn't have any extra vacation days or anything either. It just seemed weird. Y-O-T. The Y is blue. The O, so the U is yellow. See, that's why I was doing it in pieces so I don't forget. And then this is the one that I had as the U. This is a little bit of a textured scrap cardstock that, for those of you who've been following me and watching my lives, you know I'm trying to use up cardstocks this year, or scraps. After Labor Day for Luann. That's when I started. It's always the Tuesday after Labor Day. So yesterday would have been the first day of school for me. All right, I'm just gonna move that out of the way. You guys should see the crafter math after my lives. It's crazy. Some nights I just say, I'm done, and I go to bed. And some nights I'm like, okay, you should at least put stuff away so that you're ready to go the next time you need to. T-H-A-Y-U. Out of here. Ooh, I'm throwing things around. All right, we need the O. Nebraska always started the day after Labor Day. Now kids go August 10th. Wow, that is early. I think the 23rd is usually 22nd, 23rd is as early as we go here in Iowa. So, now the one thing I thought was kind of fun when my daughter was in kindergarten. Now, granted, she's going to be 25 this year. Oh, your mom was a nurse. Well, that's awesome. And she had pretty and small handwriting for hospital charts, I'm sure. Yep, that so you can read it, right? You had to read them because it wasn't like you had them all computerized. Labor Day in Georgia. Okay. My daughter, her kindergarten year of school, you know, we live in the Midwest in Iowa. So, of course, you know, we have snow days. And her kindergarten year of school, she had every Friday off in March because we didn't use any of our snow days. And that was so fun to have 3-day weekends. And of course, that's the year we didn't have any. And we had an actual rain day in May. It rained so hard. I live in the Mississippi River Valley. So to go in my town, you have to go down a hill and up a hill. But just south of town, there's another spot that's kind of a tributary river. It's an up and down hill. And there was a rock slide and it closed the highway. So they had to cancel graduation and put it on or postpone it. They took all of the snow days out of the school that year. And now we've had to use them, you know, every year since we've used our snow days. You know, they tacked them on at the end of the year after that. And we now always have to use them. Seems like. So they go later some years. I just wiped the cloth off to wipe the extra powder off of this. So we'll just put that aside. And now we're going to go ahead and glue this on. I don't worry about having the extra little bit of pixie tape behind that because you're never going to see. This is the fun part because it's, you know, little. So I'm just going to grab a little tweezers I have here. You could use your dots. You could use a Xyron runner. I don't know, with my die, I would not have used double-sided tape beforehand because it would have, and see, maybe because we have that little line, we'll put it over here this time. I'm going to start over here. I'm going to put the T, and I'm just kind of lining it up so that they kind of touch the top and bottom of the black. And we're going to use this like it's a, you know, like a writing thing. Okay, now this one is up a little bit. There's a little bit of a bump on there. So it's homecoming week here too already. I can't believe that at my school. So it hasn't been, I haven't seen a lot of crazy like toilet paper in and stuff. The parade's on Friday. Today I think was pajama day at school. Or no, that was yesterday. I think today was dress like a meme day. You know, good evening, Donna. You're fine. You know, you're fine. We're just kind of putting our card together. You know, tardy is okay on the first week of school. We had a few virtual days when everything kind of happened, but they don't do that too much for our school anymore because we've written them in. They call it, because of where we live. I know my sister's kids sometimes have e-learning days or something like that too. I think that would be kind of fun, except that, you know, I mean, you're already home, but then again, I think they used to get like a spreadsheet and they'd have to just check off certain things in each column. And it was by grade. Like, I think when my niece was in kindergarten, she had to run around and count the in one room and count like the letter E's she could find, which is perfect for, you know, a kindergartner. All right, we got thank. So I liked this, that you could do the different primary colors, because I think that's fun. You could do a whole rainbow of colors. And then for this one, I'm going to just kind of center it as to the middle as much as I can. So I'm going to do the O first, because that's the middle, obviously, letter between the word. So now you could color in these images on the top and bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're just going to center it with the A because that's the middle letter. And I love that you have the lines here because that makes me actually be straight. Because I'm not a very good person with straight lines. All right, we got our Y. And I do think what I did for my sample, I did use the exclamation point. My grandkids started school on Tuesday and then have tomorrow canceled. Tomorrow canceled because of weather? Or why is tomorrow canceled already? Thank you. Thank you very much. I was really having fun. I have pictures of some of my other samples I can show. I actually use this. I haven't uploaded it yet to the design team paperwork yet, but I use this in a completely different way when I was looking at it. So, but I can pull up a couple. Well, no, I can't because it's on this camera and you guys, I can't turn it off. So I'll have to wait till it's on social media. Now you could have put this all off to the left or off to the right if you wanted to. You could also have put this on a color. You could have matted it with the different layers so that you could have the 3 layers of color. But I thought I just wanted the thank you to be, I have a couple little, you can tell I have some fuzzies on my die cut machine. I need new cutting plates. I should have sanded those off, but they'll be fine. What I thought was fun was to pop this up. But before that, let's put this on our card base. Oh, okay. Yep, that's the way it used to be around here. But we had a parochial school in town that didn't have air conditioning, and our elementary didn't have air conditioning. So we got out early a lot of days. They weren't canceled. They were just out early. And then they finally upgraded the HVAC system in the elementary, and then the parochial school got some window air conditioners. And now we had Tuesday and Wednesday, kids were getting out early this week in different schools because of the heat too. Yeah, with that, but it's now cooled off and that heat is gone. And I am thankful for that. Okay, so I just centered that on there. I am going to grab, let's see, this is one of our mini, thank you. This is one of our, okay, that one's, I didn't cut that one right. Let me see if I have that one right. Sometimes I do a 6 by, I don't know what size cards I have here. Let me see what these ones are. Yeah, these are 6 by, see, these are 6. So I will make a card base for this. We'll just cut one of this is one of the Slimline pre-cut card bases. It's not pre-scored so that you can use them for mini slims. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and we'll cut that down and we'll glue that on there. So, but let's glue it to our base first. I had fun. I got my samples in the mail last weekend. So I spent my long weekend trying to create cards with them because I had lots of fun with it. Had some just, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with them and different things. And this one just reminded me, I guess, of teaching kids to write and the paper. I mean, I remember having the paper and you could give the kids a piece of paper and they could draw a picture about it and then write the story. My sons, well, thank you, Donna. My son's kindergarten teacher, actually, she taught until he was a senior and then she retired. And she was going to retire a couple of years and then she decided to retire with my son's class. My son's class was her last kindergarten class. She'd been teaching in different levels. And what she did for kids, I didn't know that she did this for any kids she had in elementary school. She kept a piece of paper. And I have my sons, and actually Tom's son also had her as a kindergarten teacher. We had it, and he they wrote a little story and drew a little picture. She framed them in an 8 by 10 frame and gave them back to them before they graduated. She'd have them come up to her room like the last week of school, and she would have a little snacks for them and stuff, and she would give them that. And I thought that was really, really sweet. I never knew she did that. I know Logan, my son, got his, and then I saw our Alex's, and I was like, oh my gosh, how many years did she do this? I just thought that was super sweet. Well, thank you. There's so many ways you could do this card with different things. I mean, like I said, you could make this for a crafty friend too. Because it, and you could also, I used the easy tabs and I tore the tab right off. That's how easy it was. I didn't pay attention. You could use these little items, and stamp them out and make a background and give them to your child to color for their teacher and make that their backdrop. And then just stick a thank you in the middle of it. If you use the thanks from the Christopher sentiments, it has the shadow. So you could do that, but then you could have this whole background, just these images that they could color. And then wouldn't matter how old they are. If they were little, and didn't color in the lines yet, or if they were, third graders or fourth graders and could color, and could be a little more artistic. So you could also put the little banners on to make it kind of like a banner, like, woohoo, that's an A+, you're an A+. But I thought that was kind of a fun idea. Obviously there's more room here. You could add some bling, but I'm just going to leave it as is. So this is my card for tonight. I know it's not quite 8 o'clock, but we're going to kind of cut out early tonight. I did want to show the stamp set again. Here's the All Set for School stamp set. Sorry if it's hard for you to see some of the images, because obviously I've used quite a few. I love the books. And I know Christopher used the die of the month last night that had the books and stuff on it too, so you could use those. Teachers have class. School is tough, but so are you. Teach, love, inspire. Good luck. A+ student, A+ teacher. There's the note. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Michelle, if I didn't say that. Anne Marie. Then there's the note, like it's a library type card or notebook paper that you could use. It's like a 4x4 stamp set or a 4x5 stamp set. And then you could, write in it and put A+. Make it like an assignment. Put A+ on it, and that would be fun. And then I have the stencils. So tonight we use the note paper pad one, which is a very fun one. So I'll let you in a little secret. I don't have the card, but I used this to make a road with some alabaster embossing powder. And then I grabbed the big city dies, and I put little cars on it. So you'll have to watch for that card. And I made a cityscape with it. But this makes the perfect little roadway. So for a teen driver, or somebody getting their license or going on a trip. And then we also have the typography stamp set. There's the bookworm stamp set, which I believe is the stamp of the month. And I believe there's some paper pads. That's what I have right now. I hope I'll probably order a couple things this next week and have them for us in the future here. I appreciate you joining me tonight. I hope you have a great rest of your week. A happy September. Good school year to all kids and teachers. And don't forget to create your own ending. And I have you have a great evening. All right. I will see you guys next week. Good night. Still live.